Gents, use the product rule to find the derivative of each case. Now, you might say, what is the product rule? It's this guy here, and it's in your tables. Now, some of you might say, well, why would I, how do I know to use the product rule? Alright, and if you look at the first question, I'll do part 2 if that's okay with you guys. What could I actually do? Multiply it out. What happens when I multiply it out? 12x squared, what's it, plus 15x, take away 16x, which would be minus 20. Alright, let's differentiate this. What's the y dx then? 2 times that, 24x, and then differentiate minus 1x, and just get rid of 20, and that's your answer. We didn't need no quotient rule for this one. Sorry, no product rule, but I'll show you the product rule now anyway. We're going to do exactly the same question, okay? Now, do you see the way they're being multiplied by each other? How do I know they're being multiplied by each other? The brackets, there's nothing in between those brackets, is there? So it's definitely being multiplied. So what you do is you let one of them equal u, and the other one equals v. Is that cool with you guys? You do a little list to the right hand side. U is 3x minus 4. What's v? Oh, sorry, what's v? Plus 5. What do you think du dx means? Differentiate u. So let's differentiate u, and what do we get? 3. Let's differentiate v, and what do we get? 4. And what does the rule tell us to do? The y dx is what? 3 times, oh sorry, not 3 times, u times the v dx. So what's u? And what's the v dx? 4. Phi times, what's phi? And what's the u dx? 3. Multiply it out, and what do we get? 12x minus 16, and then this one. So it's 12x plus 15. What do we get as our answer? That's the same answer we got the other way, wasn't it? Okay. So, will you guys try part 6 for me on your own? Using exactly the same steps. Do the product rule and see what happens. You want to label what u is. You want to label what v is, and then you want to go through the whole procedure one more time. Okay, so I'll get you this far. U is x cubed minus 1, and v is 2x plus 1. We'll pause it there, okay? Alright, so we're going to differentiate u. Bring the 3 to the front, take 1 away from the power of 3x squared. Any regular number always turns to 0. 2x turns to 2, 1 turns to 0. Now fill in your numbers. U is x cubed, take away 1. But that's going to get multiplied by 2, because 2 is the v dx. V is 2x plus 1. And it's going to get multiplied by 3x squared. X cubed multiplied by 2 is 2x cubed. Multiplied by minus 1, minus 2. 2x by 3x squared. Anybody? 1 times 3x squared. And then it's 8x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2. Is that alright? Who got that? Right, most of you, right? Now, have a crack at number 5 yourself, okay? And, yeah, so we'll call this one u and call this one v, and we'll also use the product rule, and I'll write u as u to the power of a half plus 4. V is x to the power of a half minus 4. Now I'd like you guys to differentiate that using the product rule, okay? Let's do this. Differentiate u, and you get a half x to the power of a half, and differentiate 4, it disappears. Differentiate v, and you get a half x to the power minus a half, and then once again it disappears. We're next going to multiply this out, and what we're going to get is u, which is x to the power of a half plus 4, times the u dx, which is the v dx, which is a half x to minus a half. And what else are we going to get? V, what's v? X to the power of a half, take away 4. It's taken a serious level up, hasn't it, from the first two questions we've done. And then the v dx is... Now, the only thing you guys are going to have to worry about is this. Okay, ready? Now, we're all agreed, back in the day, if I had x plus y multiplied by a, what would the answer be? Ax and? So, we're going to multiply this one by this one, and this one by all of it as well. Is that alright? Next thing you got to figure out is, why is this difficult? Oh, it's the fractions, isn't it? So, what's x to the power of a half multiplied by x to the power of minus a half? X to the power of 0. And what's anything to the power of 0? 1. Do you remember you add the powers? What's x3 by x4? x7. Right? So what happens when you multiply these out is the following. X power of a half multiplied by x power minus a half, they just become 1, don't they? So it's going to be a half. The other one don't worry about. What's 4 times a half? 4 times a half, anybody? So that's 2x to the minus a half. And x power a half, the same thing again, isn't it? It's still a half. And what's minus 4 by that? Minus 2x minus 2. And what cancels? And a half plus a half? 1, as predicted. Okay? So we have successfully done question 1 and question 5 using the product drill. Next thing we're going on to is what's called the quotient drill. Now, how do you know, does anybody know what a quotient means? Might as well be called the fraction rule. You'll see a fraction. Everybody cool with that? Now, here's what we're going to do. I'll take part 4 here. The top part is always u, and the bottom part is always v. Your u, your v. Every time. Okay? Every single time you see a... Now, do you know what, when we're talking about the fraction, there has to be a letter on the bottom. If you saw this, would you use the quotient drill for that? Why not? It's just a third x squared, isn't it? Bring the 2 to the front, what you get? 2 thirds x, isn't it? So you'd only use the quotient drill when there's letters on the bottom. Is there a letter on the bottom for every one of these questions? Is there a letter in the denominator? Yay or nay? There is. It means we're using the quotient drill. Alright, so here's what we're going to say. We're going to say u equals 2x squared minus 1. Adam, what's the u dx then?
4.
2 times 2? 4. Take 1 away from the power? 4x1 or just 4x, okay? When you differentiate minus 1? Okay. Jack Mooney, what happens when you differentiate 2x minus 3? What? 2. Alright, this is quite promising. Now, let's put in our numbers, okay? What's v? What's the u dx? What's u? 2x squared minus 1. What's the v dx? Was it? 2. See that 2? I don't know what your preference is, but I always like to put the 2 just in beside the minus, if you get what I'm saying. It's just something I always do. I just find I'm more accurate when I do it like that. But whatever way you want to do it is your choice. Is that okay? If I have 3 multiplied by 2 and I have a minus, It's my choice whether I want the 2 or 3 to come in front, because it's multiplication. It's just my choice, okay? Now, what's phi squared? Anybody? Now, you don't need to multiply out the bottom unless you see some sort of advantage to it. I don't currently see an advantage. Let's multiply it out. What do we get? 8x squared minus 12x, what's that? Minus 4x squared and plus 2. Right? All over your 2x minus 3 squared. Okay, what do we get then? 4x squared minus... What do most of you think that's... some of you might try to factorise that, would you? I don't think you're able to do anything with it, by the way. But we'll just take out 2 on top, and what's left over? I can tell you right now, you can't factorise that. And quite simply, that's your answer, actually. That's your answer. You look at the back of the book if you want. That's it. Alright, so here's what I want you to try now. You try part 6 on your own. Similar technique. Rain through this, alright? So, lads, u is 3x plus 2. Du dx is 3. V is x squared minus 3. The v dx is 2x. Is that okay? Now, we're going to use our quotient rule formula to our left. We're going to start off with v. V is x squared minus, what's it, 3. Du dx is 3. Minus u times the v dx, or phi times the u dx, or sorry, u times the v dx. So it's 3x plus 2. And we're going to multiply that by the v dx, which is just simply 2x. But that 2x, as I said earlier, I just generally like to put it in front usually. And I'll do the same thing here. Let's go and lob it in the front. Alright, all over phi squared, which is x squared minus 3 squared. Alright, let's multiply this out, and what do we get? Three x squared minus 9 minus 4x. Then on the bottom, okay, what do we get then? Minus 3x squared, yeah? Minus 4x. 27, would plus 27 be the reference number? You're not working anything out from that. So that's your answer, is it? Who got that? Okay, you're all correct. Happy days. Now, just when you thought you didn't learn enough for one day, we have what's called the chain rule. It's easy enough. Fine, I'll take your advice. Alright, for homework, alright, so what we're going to have a quick look here. I'll call out your homework now. Questions 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. We're skipping the chain rule for today, per your advice. So, apparently, you guys can only do 16 is the only other one you can do. Yep. 16 is the only other one you can do. So for homework tonight, questions 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 16. In today's class, I did parts of 1, parts of 2. What else did I do? I already did 5. Sorry, that's 4. Sorry. So I did 1, 5 and 2 in order. Alright, good.